Hello, everybody. My name is Caesar,
And I'm Martha.
and welcome back to 33?
33rd.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
33, 33rd episode of In a Wider Screen Where?
Two idiots who know nothing about movies talk about movies.
And today, oh my God, what are you making the face for?
He's so excited. I love
He's
it.
so excited to be here. So we have a very special guest today. We've been wanting to get you
Good.
on the show for a minute now.
Good friend
Pretty
of the
crazy.
podcast. Safe to say,
Yes.
our number one fan of the podcast. So
Yes.
take
You've
it away.
always been like, yeah, go for it. Introduce yourself. What's your name, man? I don't remember your name.
My name's Jacob. I got excited when y'all said the whole intro because it's kind of like seeing your favorite
know.
song being played live.
Oh yeah, that's the best feeling.
It's just funny. I'm like, oh wow, I'm witnessing this now, and I'm a part of this.
Yes, thank you for coming on. I mean, when did you meet Jacob, Martha? Because I think you met him. Did y'all go to middle school together, or just high school?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think we went to middle school together, but we went to high school together, obviously. We were friends. I don't even remember how we started becoming friends.
I think officially we met because we had English class our senior year together with Mr. Jones.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Oh my God, I forgot Mr. Jones.
Yeah, the only people I knew sat on the opposite side of the class, and I sat right next to Martha, and I'm like, man, who am I gonna be a smart ass to? And I looked to my right, and she was welcoming, so I was like, yeah, let me just say some words to her, and it became a little friendship.
Yep,
That's very
a
sweet.
grand friendship. It was great.
Yeah.
We had known each other in high school. We didn't talk too much, so we didn't really start talking though till I didn't realize my girlfriend Marie knew you. It was pretty crazy. Like she's brought you up one time. I was like, "Is this the same Jacob?" She's like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God." That's cool.
No, yeah, I've known Marie since probably like I was sixth grade because she was very 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 good. We're friends with my sister.
Oh yeah, right.
Because they were in the same grade. But no, yeah, you and I didn't start like speaking until like after high school, probably.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
And now here we are.
but it's all cool. Yeah,
We'd love to hear.
Yeah.
So this is a movie show. So I guess I was just wondering, have you always really been into movies? Like, what's kind of like your taste in movies, that kind of thing?
I'm sorry, I cut out there. Say it again.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just asking, have you always kind of really been into movies? Like, what's your taste like, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, I have a thing for storytelling.
Right.
I love being immersed into movies. So if a movie's very engaging, I mean, my parents were the type to not really let me hang out with friends. So all I had was video games and movies at home.
Right.
And, I'd watch the same movies over and over, and I'd get invested into their stories. And it's just, any medium of storytelling works for me. It's just really if it's a movie, then it's a movie. If it's a show, it's a show. For me, in my opinion, I've been really big on video game lore, like in stories for like years now. And like one of the things right now I've been like kind of reinvested myself in is Halo, because they have probably one of the biggest. Yeah, it's like a huge like expanded story, and it's just really cool. No, yeah, I just appreciate a good story.
I
used to like that when I was younger. I've never
played
been
that?
very much into video games, but Halo I enjoyed mostly because of these videos that I used to watch called Adventures of Bob, I think it was, and it was these guys
what are you
doing the
talking
gameplay,
about?
and it was hilarious. It was the best thing ever.
So you're more familiar with Halo of the gameplays, but not actually playing the game. You never played the game.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, I never played it either. I never had an Xbox, but I wanted to play it really bad. It looked cool.
No, yeah, I honestly at this point I don't really play it. I just like watching the cutscenes in my free time.
I've heard that like more people. I've seen like people post videos on YouTube where they like put all the cutscenes together, and it's basically like its own film, like this long movie. You know.
Yeah, they do that.
So what kind of movies then do you like tend to like? Do you have like specific genres you like, or what kind of storytelling in movies like appeals to you most?
I find that I'm really titillated by movies that are very serious and intimate. Like for the longest time, my favorite movie was The Social Network, just because it, you know, the story there. I mean, everyone's familiar with Facebook, but like kind of what went behind the scenes. I mean, I know it's dramatized for Hollywood, but this, you know, that dynamic and like everyone's motivations and how they kind of intertwined, and there's like kind of almost two stories going on at the same time, and they kind of told the whole story through the testimonies of everyone suing Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
So, you know, things like that, and you know, movies like
Martha,
like
that's all you can offer because you've never seen the movie. Martha's never seen Social Network.
I will watch it eventually one day. I am very behind on lots of movies.
Clearly.
I like to think of that one tweet that's like, you'd be surprised how many movies I haven't seen. Brianna has said that one many times, and I fully agree with that.
I think with you though, I'm not surprised at how much you haven't seen.
Yeah, that's.
I'm being honest.
You see, I'm picking up on that. Is that these movies are doing Martha's like watching for the first time?
Yeah, well,
or something. Okay.
I don't think for this one, but actually, yeah, I don't know. I feel like recently it's been more stuff you watching for the first time, and earlier it was me watching for the first time.
That's true. Yeah, we've had a bit of a switch, so I gotta start coming back.
But the one we haven't done, which I'm excited for, I don't think we've ever watched something that neither of us have seen for the first time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Those are gonna be the fun ones. But this one, at least, yes, Interstellar, I think we've all seen here.
Yes.
Before this viewing. But before we get into that, Martha, I want to start. Oh, I forgot one thing. Now that you're here, Jacob, I forgot the question.
How could we forget?
I forgot the riddle for today. All right, I got one. So you can both answer this. This is for you too, Jacob, if you know the answer. Cool. In South Africa, you cannot take a picture of a man with a wooden leg. Why not?
Okay, so in South Africa, you cannot take a picture of a man with a wooden leg.
Why not?
Because he's a pirate, and he's not in South Africa. He's on a pirate ship in the sea.
Not quite. You have an answer, Jacob? You have an idea?
No.
He said, "This is a stupid question. I don't want to be here anymore."
Stupid questions. I don't want to. Well,
I don't know. I don't think so. Can't tell about riddles.
You guys, you can't take a picture with a wooden leg. You need a camera.
Wait a second. So you're saying there's a lot of people in South Africa with wooden legs?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Whoever I got this from probably thinks so. I've never been to South Africa.
I think that my pirate explanation was a lot better. Just saying.
Anywho,
I thought she was being. I thought that was the right answer, honestly, because
she's been getting them right.
Yeah, she's been getting them.
I'm so smart. That's why. Cause
I honestly thought for a second you were gonna get it right.
Big brain.
Because sometimes you like to fuck with me.
This is true. But yeah, no. I mean, I'm too smart is my problem, and that these riddles aren't good enough for me. So
except this week. All right. Anyways, so. Now that we've done all of that, we are here obviously to talk about Interstellar, which I'm really glad you suggested, Jacob, because I've been wanting to rewatch this for the longest time. Yeah, I love this movie. I think it's great.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a fun little story. I watched this when it first came out.
You saw it in the theater?
I didn't see it in the theater, but I saw it when it came to Redbox, and I rented it.
Okay. Prehistoric times of 2015.
Right? Okay. When people go to Redbox.
Okay, I say that, but I used Redbox like last week.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I haven't been to Redbox.
I get everything on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. Everything is there.
Well, because so my carrier's T-Mobile, and like they do like these like kind of offers every week, and a lot of times they'll do like free rentals. And so I just use that, and I have a Redbox like down the street, so I'll just go there sometimes. Yes. But other than that, yeah, I'm just prehistoric like that. But I don't know. Tell us about your first time.
Okay, so I watched it. Quite honestly, I did not have the big brain that I have now. So at the time, I was very, very confused about what was happening.
So your brain went from this to this, like that's your big brain.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay. So, so I watched it. I was quite honestly bored and a little confused the first time. And so because of that, it put me off from watching it ever again. So I'm glad that you suggested this movie.
You hadn't seen it since then?
I hadn't seen it since then. But watching it now,
God.
I'm like,
Oh my
wow,
God.
this is a good movie. And I didn't realize it before.
Man, I was okay. The first time I saw it was in tech theater. Now the thing is, we watched it in a class period, and I didn't have time to understand it. I was just watching it, but it was good. I was like, damn, I got to see the next thing.
I mean, visually watching it, I thought it was beautiful, but like I just didn't understand what was happening. Was my thing.
It still looks fucking great.
I mean, honestly, I have had quite a few experiences like that. I mean, even this year when I saw Dune, I kind of had the same experience. I was just like, this is amazing what I'm looking at, but I also don't know what I'm looking at.
That's why I told my girlfriend. We watched it with my parents, and I look at her after the movie. I'm like, look, I gotta be honest. That movie was kind of engaging. I thought it was pretty.
Yeah.
But the first like hour and a half, I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
I know.
Those are the best.
Yeah.
It's anyway. Yeah. I think I sort of had this confusion. I mean, honestly, even after this time, there's some things that I couldn't fully wrap my brain around. But I actually did not watch this for the first time till last year during COVID.
And you were over here getting ready to be mad at me for only watching it once, dude.
No, because it's not even that you watched it once. It's because you saw it when it came out, which was 2014. It's been almost 10 years since it came out.
Sorry.
Jesus. It is pushing 10 years, isn't it?
It is. Well, actually, let me get into the movie real quick. I'll just have some quick things. So this is directed by Christopher Nolan. I fucking love Christopher Nolan. So good. Martha, if you don't know who Christopher Nolan is, it's okay.
I know who Christopher Nolan is.
So before this, obviously, he directed Memento, Insomnia, Dark Knight movies, Inception. And then after this, he did Dunkirk and Tenet, which that movie confused the hell out of me. This has Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, Bill Irwin, Ellen Burstyn, Michael Caine. Released November 5th, 2014. So I think it just crossed 7 years this month. This cost $165 million to make, Jesus, and it grossed about $702 million. And then this is where I got a little pissed when I looked this up, to be honest with you. At the 87th Oscars, it only won for Best Visual Effects, deservingly so, but it was only nominated for production design, original score, sound editing, and sound mixing. That was all I got.
Really?
That was it.
All plausible. I do agree with you that they should have been nominated for a lot more.
I think it could have gotten some more. But
Yeah.
I remember that year, there were a lot of good movies that year. But still, like, this is up there. It's like one of the best.
What do you know what else was on that Oscar kind of list? Like
I remember that year was like Birdman, like Boyhood, Grand Budapest Hotel.
Then that makes sense.
Some other
Still,
stuff I can't remember.
Definitely a good one.
And then, we are reading the synopsis now. I forgot. This kind of, I mean, it's 2 sentences, but they're kind of long. So the synopsis reads, in a dystopian future where humanity is lacking survival options, a retired astronaut named Cooper leads a mysterious mission that will take them through a wormhole near Saturn. As they search for a new planet to inhabit, Cooper and his crew must also live with the consequences of leaving home.
Oh, okay. I think that's
It's not bad. I think it's pretty good.
well summarized the movie.
That's good. Unlike
but
what
they forget
movie?
the part with fucking the next dimension that we can't perceive.
Yeah.
They're like, but then they come in, they're worried about their loved ones at home, but then they're faced with shit they don't understand.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing or what they're where they are or like exactly.
Yeah.
That's definitely a lot better synopsis than whatever the movie we watched recently, Martha, that had like a whole paragraph.
A Goofy movie?
I was reading the synopsis for a Goofy movie. It's literally like the whole movie in a
It
paragraph.
was the whole movie.
You know, and I want to give y'all kudos to that movie because for that episode, I was just listening to it, and I didn't realize, like, the way y'all would talk about it, I'm like, damn, this is kind of wholesome. I thought it was just a stupid, like, straight to DVD Disney movie. I'm like, wait, this is actually kind of like for real, with real like father son issues going on.
It's got stuff under the surface. I think it's the second one you're talking about.
I have a. Hey, don't knock the second one either. I will fight you. I have a talent to make any silly movie into a serious one, if I really tried hard enough, I can always try and find some sort of connection and be like, oh guys, it's a whole thing.
That will definitely come in handy. We got to like talk about more bad movies. So when we do that, that will come in handy for
We
sure.
absolutely do. Oh my God, Catch Me with The Room. Oh, that would be the best. That is.
Oh.
I'm gonna make it the most dramatic movie.
It's already pretty dramatic though, like very mellow.
The mom did have cancer, but you just didn't know it
Didn't
because she
know
was
it.
trying to, she's trying to call out to everybody, but she was so alone.
Yeah. Oh, I actually forgot I had this next to me. So when I bought the Blu-ray for it, and I guess I didn't know it came with these. Apparently, it comes with like these IMAX, like, oh, you can't even see it, like film prints or something.
Oh wow,
Where'd it go?
it's like a little photo book. That's nice.
Yeah, I don't.
Film
You can't
prints,
even,
like,
wait,
it comes with,
can you
like-
even, can you even see it? Like,
Are they,
it's all
like-
grayed out?
Are they like stills from the movie?
No, it's like it's supposed to look like it's from the film, like the actual film they shot on or something.
Oh,
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, it's just like
that's
whatever.
cool. That's cool.
But anyway, getting into the movie now.
I think I had one for like that from like The Matrix.
Oh, that'd be
I
cool.
think they might have came up with something. I don't know, something like that.
Speaking of which, I need to rewatch those movies now that the new one's coming out.
Oh, the new one's coming
Oh
out.
yeah.
Martha, I know you haven't seen any of the Matrix movies.
No, I've seen the first one, I think.
Okay, honestly, me too. I've only seen the first one.
Really? Y'all haven't seen the other two?
No, I
would-
will.
For Halloween, you were dressed up as characters for The Matrix.
We based our
Oh,
outfits off the
yeah.
first movie.
Okay, well.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, here's the thing. They're not all that. I mean,
I heard they're not even
of course,
good.
y'all
so it
probably
doesn't
know
matter.
about like how kind of controversial they were. Not controversial. Everyone was just like, why'd they make those?
Right.
You
Yeah.
know. But I mean, they contributed something to the story, but y'all probably be underwhelmed.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll stick to just watching the first
Well,
one.
I definitely wasn't underwhelmed rewatching Interstellar.
Yeah.
So let's just get into the movie now. Even right from the beginning, that whole. I remember when I watched it for the first time, I did not understand the meaning of the damn bookcase. Like from the beginning, they emphasize it so much in the beginning, and then you kind of forget about it once like he goes to space. But even like from the beginning, it's just bookcase stuff.
I thought
I'm
it was
like-
cool because she keeps talking about this ghost. Although I will say it is weird that it is constantly brought up, and it's like this ghost is here, is trying to communicate with me, but then it is kind of dropped, and so you're just kind of like,
Well, I feel like,
They're just planting it.
but they're just planting a
Yeah.
seed. I feel like they do it on purpose because I'm telling you, the first time I watched it, like they reference it a lot in the beginning, but then when they drop it, you don't think about it till the end when that
Till the
comes
end.
out, and you're like, oh.
yeah,
But then when you're rewatching it again, you're like, oh my god, they've literally planted the seed right in front of your face.
yeah, no, because really the only thing I could remember from this movie was the bookcase. So
I'm glad that made a connection. It's because you read.
that's
Like, that could be you.
definitely it. Mhm.
But anyway, so this movie starts. They're like on Earth. Earth is basically shit, right? Like all the crops are dying. Like
Worse than it is now.
there's worse than it, which is pretty surprising. I don't know how much worse you
bad.
can get. But a reason why they're not as bad. You have a very young Timothy Chalamet there. I didn't know he was in
I
this.
forgot.
Timothy Chalamet had no fade. He had this weak ass haircut.
It was
This farmer
yeah.
boy.
What was his outfits, man?
Honestly,
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I'm like, you know what? This kid. This is when Timothy Chalamet was last seen as an actual human being
I know.
before being this weird sex icon.
sex god symbol.
He will
Whatever.
always
the hell
be
he
Willy
is.
that
Wonka.
good to me.
Oh, Willy! Oh my god, I forgot he's playing Wonka.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's what I've been thinking about since I heard about it.
That's,
I can't wait for
That's
that.
gonna be fun.
The first like memorable scene for me with this movie was like when they're driving through that cornfield, and then I feel like that's the first time you're hearing like the score too, like this fucking music in this movie. Oh,
The score is
I want
very
this
good.
fucking soundtrack. Like that was the first time I really like heard how powerful the music is. Like it makes the cornfield, them driving through a cornfield feel more exciting than it should
So
be.
dramatic. So good.
It's like
I love
all
it.
dramatic, but it's so good.
They kind of do this thing where it swells, like
Yeah.
like I think was one of the first shots of the scene. I mean, of the movie where Cooper's dreaming about when he was a pilot,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like that mission that went wrong. That I think they don't really explain it, but I think it was what led to him stop being a pilot. Maybe.
Yeah.
And it's just this loud, just like it would just. it's loud.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, hearing it on like a loud system, like whatever my dad has in the living room, it's so intense.
I know.
It's so intense. I
imagine watching if I had to watch this in the theater, like how freaking loud this thing must have been.
They have to re-release it, or I'm rioting.
I know.
We need to sign a petition, start something.
I honestly, I could be wrong. I think during COVID, when like nothing was coming out, they did like put this back. They were putting back like everything in theaters last year.
Yeah, they brought back everything. They're just like, just come to our theater, please. We make money off of popcorn. We don't make money off of showing movies.
Like, get our $15 popcorn, please, and that's all we want.
Serious.
But in terms of the plot, so basically he has his kids, and I guess his father-in-law that's living with him too.
Yes.
And the whole idea is, so Timothy's kind of like the farmer of the family. He's pretty much gonna be, but Murph is the girl, and she's gonna be like. Mm-hmm.
She's Rigatoni from Twilight, yeah.
Who? Oh,
Rigatoni. Sorry,
I thought that was some kind of pasta. I was like confused for a second.
No, her name's Renesmee, but I like that there's like a meme that just everyone across the internet has agreed to that we will not call her by her correct name. It's Rigatoni, Rigamortis, Resuscitate. It is anything but her name.
Did you say Rick and Morty?
Rick and Morty is also one of them, yes.
That's what I think we should call her as.
So I might be referring to her throughout.
Quick tangent, stupidest name I've ever heard in my life. What the hell was Bella thinking?
I don't know.
Honestly.
That whole
It's fucking vampires.
Stupid.
Can't think straight.
But anyways, in this movie, so he takes him. So he goes to school. They have like a parent-teacher conference for the kids, and basically when he talks to the teacher, like, he's already. Dude, yeah, what the fuck? Like, she's like, we got these new corrected versions of these textbooks. Like, we didn't go on the moon. It was like fake. It was fake. It was Soviet propaganda. Like, these rockets are useless machines and shit. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, no wonder his son's gonna be a farmer and his test scores are shit. Like, he's not learning nothing here.
He's not learning anything of use.
You're like, so basically, just kind of get an idea of like where, like, the state, I guess, of the planet is, like in terms of everyone's thinking.
Shit.
And I guess for Cooper, yeah. And obviously, like Coop, like you said, he used to be a pilot, and like I don't know, like you can obviously tell from the beginning, like his thinking, like his desires to kind of go out for something more. Yeah, big brain energy. Yeah, he wants something more. Like he desires to like kind of. He's someone who wants to explore more than what he has, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then basically, what's the next thing? They're at that baseball game. Right?
So we get to just see a little bit more about world building and how bad things really are. They're at the baseball scene and baseball game, and there's a giant dust storm that hits them again, and they get home trying to hide out from this dust storm, and then we start seeing a little bit more weirder occurrences happening inside Murph's room.
With the ghost.
Yeah, first it's the bookshelves, and now it's like the sand coming down, or like the dust coming down from her ceiling. There's like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, breaks?
It's like, I don't know, it's kind of like streaming all into really specific places. They look like curtains.
Yeah.
Like just in the middle of the room when it's just supposed to be blowing in.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It's a very strange occurrence, but finally he's like, all right, I'll give it to you. This is weird, so let me like investigate it with that.
Like,
big
I'll
brain
actually
of
help
mine.
you, because before I thought this was stupid, but you might be onto something.
Because you're calling it a ghost, so like, what is he supposed to like think? He's just kind of like, she's just kid imagination.
Well, he should know because he's the fucking ghost.
He's the ghost. He didn't know that. But jumping ahead. Spoilers, which we have not done in quite a few episodes.
I think the one time you did say it on time was for the freaking Goofy movie. The one movie that we didn't need no damn spoilers for.
Probably not.
I mean, it's a very spoiler-heavy story, so I get it.
This is a 7-year-old movie. If they haven't seen it by now,
that's fair. That's fair. But to be fair, I didn't see it till last year. So.
That's true. Never mind.
Yeah.
Everyone
else sees her.
All right, but okay. The only reason it took me so long to see is because I was like, okay, this looks like the movie I need to see on like the biggest screen I can find. So I remember one time, like, I found it on my phone. I was like, I'm not gonna watch it on my phone. It's stupid. And it was like never streaming anywhere. So I was like, okay, I don't know like how to watch this like the way it deserves to be seen. and then I found it last year. So
That's why I haven't watched Dune yet, because
it was on
My
HBO
brother-
Max, girl.
I know my brother was promising that if I watched it at his house, because he has this really, really nice surround sound system, and he's like, you need to watch it like this. Like, this is the best way to watch it. And I was going to do that.
Or you
and
could have done
didn't.
the actual best way to watch it in the theater.
I also missed an opportunity to do that.
That's your fault at this point. So we're gonna spoil Dune.
Please, God, no.
Anyways,
I couldn't spoil Dune if I wanted to. I don't know what was
that's
going
fair.
on in that movie.
You know what? That's fair. I could not tell you. Anywho, but I really am liking though the early scenes with Cooper and Murph. Like obviously, like their relationship is like the heart of this movie.
Yeah.
So like, I like how they like focus on it. So basically what happens is like, once he kind of investigates like what's happening in her room, he discovers that it's like coordinate. It's like almost as if it's communicating in binary. Is that what he said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's with like a binary code, and because at first she was trying to figure it out with Morse code, which I'm like, geez, this kid's another big brain. But eventually, bigger brain is like, nah,
Yeah.
it's binary.
It's binary. It's not non-binary. It's binary. So they look into the. Sorry. So basically, they've discovered that it's coordinates. So they're like, so he's like, let's go find coordinates. She sneaks in the car, and they're like, okay, whatever. Let's go find these coordinates. Where does this lead us to? They think they're gonna get like freaking like trafficked or something, but no, it's just NASA. And
It's just NASA and a sassy robot.
that's basically
That robot scared the shit out of me.
really.
I don't know why. It just spooked me. Like it was loud and like it was like walking. You don't see it until you see Tars interrogating Cooper.
Right.
Yeah.
But you hear Cooper get tased, and then you hear this big ass like mecha footsteps towards Murph, and she just screamed. I don't know why that scared me.
Oh,
I'm like, what the hell
the
is
way.
this?
Oh my god, the way she screamed and it just cut off made me laugh.
Seriously, I thought about that too.
I totally agree. Okay, it was scary, but like, I think what really sets it like even more so is the fact that it's very like, it's almost sentient in a way. Like the way that they communicate and like act, and they're, like I said, it was a sassy robot. It's
Yeah.
just everything about it is the robots are so weird. The way that he speaks to it as if it was like a real person.
Yeah. Oh, especially because they mentioned that they were ex-military robots.
Yeah.
Like they used to be in the belong to the
It's all
Marines or
just-
something.
The robots
Yeah.
are just weird. They're
Yeah.
just
I mean, it's
weird
definitely
in
not
this
like the
movie.
robot from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Well, kind of. he's got the
But I mean, he doesn't,
sassy
not the
sense.
physical look. I mean,
The thing is, like, what I love about this movie is that it's like story and exposition, or like backstory is revealed through conversation, just like subtly, like thinking back to like the teacher conference. That's when you learn that there's like this huge like food shortage, and that they're even like redirecting government money. Like there's no armies anymore, and like stuff like
Yeah.
that. And they just drop these little things in here where you're just like, wait, what did he say? Like, is
Like,
this
just
the
crazy.
state of the world that's in?
Right.
And this is just normal for them? And same thing with like how he talks to Tars. He's like, I think he goes, y'all ex-military
Yeah.
still think you're in the military. Like he's
Yeah.
like talking shit. Like if he's like actually talking to an actual soldier.
to
I'm
actual
like,
like soldier. Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened? And the thing is that they never really made clear was when this is taking place.
Yeah, they don't say like what year or anything like that.
Which
You
is
just kinda
why
just-
I think
it's
I was
just-
so confused when I first watched it. 'Cause I
Yeah,
was like,
it's just
this is-
implied that it's in the future.
Yeah.
right. But how far in the future is it? 2022?
I don't even know.
Sure.
Maybe not. Yeah, we don't know.
It doesn't look too different. Besides like the equipment that they have at NASA.
Right.
But I
Or
mean,
the fact that the Yankees are playing on that tiny ass ballpark.
yeah. And the thing is, what the father-in-law says, he goes, we had real players back then.
I know.
I'm like, damn, is that guy supposed to be our age?
Our age?
Like, was he in our generation?
I know.
Like, I don't know. They
I
don't
don't
make
know.
it clear.
That's a good point. But basically, once they like run into NASA, like you're saying, there's a lot of exposition in these parts, but it didn't feel like they were just dumping stuff on us. Like honestly, it felt like, I don't know. The more they were talking, the more you could see like Cooper having this like sense of wonder, I guess, and excitement about what was happening. So you kind of feel that too. Like And basically, just knowing, okay, the Earth is shit. Like, we need to leave. And somehow there's a wormhole out there that if we can get there, can take us to a whole new galaxy, and maybe we can live
To
there.
a whole new world.
I was gonna say too, this is also not a Christopher Nolan movie without Michael Caine. Like that dude is in all of his movies. And also, how old is the guy? He's been old for a long time.
He has. Isn't that weird that there are certain people who have just been old for like a little too long?
Morgan Freeman.
I will say this is the first time I've seen him with a beard though. Or he had like a goatee.
That's true.
I'm like, there's something different about this Michael Caine.
Because I will say,
he kind of seems smarter to me.
He does. I think outside of maybe The Dark Knight, because I saw that super young, my first memory of him was in The Muppet Christmas Carol. He was Scrooge.
Oh yeah,
killed it in that movie.
Didn't we watch that in the class, Martha?
I think we did. Yeah,
that's awesome. We never had that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
that's the best one. Damn. Anyway, I was gonna say another detail that I loved in the NASA part was they're showing like all the crew's pics from those Lazarus missions, except Dr. Mann. They just name drop him, and I just love like so that way later on when you find out who's playing him, it's like a complete surprise.
Well, yeah, because it's like you see a bunch of like faces on the wall that mean nothing to you, and then Matt Damon, and it's like, oh, I wonder which one they're gonna pick.
Right. But yeah, so basically Cooper is at this point where it's like, okay, I can go on this mission, and if I do it, okay, I'll potentially give my kids a future. Like, the Earth is doomed. They're not going to live out their lives here in these future generations. Like, the human race needs to continue to thrive, but it's also like you're risking not finding that world, and you, like, lost your kids, basically, and your whole life. But, like, also, we know at this point, like, his whole purpose is just to explore. Like, he feels like just being on Earth simply is, like, not for him.
Yeah, he's too cool for Earth, and he needs to explore, move on with his life. So
yes,
he's going through a bit of a crisis. So
right,
weird.
So he decides though to go on this mission. He doesn't face any trouble from Timothy Chalamet. He could not be bothered.
He's like, all right, bye, Dad.
He's like,
see you, maybe.
He's like, can I have your truck? No, he's like, can I have your truck? It's the only thing he
doesn't even care.
I'm like, honestly, yeah. It's Murph though. He's gonna have trouble, leaving on good terms with. And basically, she's just like, stay, like, especially because she has it from her code that she was like writing from the ghost. She was like, it says stay, like, stay, Dad. And he's just the like,
ghost said stay, so you's gotta stay.
Basically, and he's just like, well, I love you, but gotta bounce. And he's driving away, and then dude, when he leaves and like he's driving in his car and he looks in his trunk, like passenger, and he like sees where she hid earlier and she's not there, and he starts crying, and then Murph comes running out the house. Too little, too late.
Wait, no, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's heartbreaking.
Like,
heartbreaking.
And then it's counting down all the while.
Oh, like, yeah.
That mesh of just everything that's going on, that was just perfect. That was edited so good.
Yes,
dramatic, and it's perfect.
I mean, Mr. Christopher Nolan, you're already dropping the emotion on us this early.
And then the music was doing the loud thing where it's just blasting in your ears, and like you're like deaf afterward because it just goes straight to quiet.
It just cuts it.
Launching.
Yes. I will say, have you ever seen 2001: Space Odyssey?
Oh yeah.
Never.
I haven't, but I'm pretty sure like those sounds like he was using are like kind of that kind of space movie type thing. Like I think he was referencing that.
Yeah, everyone knows that like iconic 2001 Space Odyssey score.
Yeah,
like that they always like parody. So I think he just wanted to expand on that, like really like triumphant kind of like with horns and orchestra. Just trying to replicate that. There's definitely some homage there.
For sure. Oh yeah, a little touch I love. So we were talking about Tars earlier. A little touch I liked about him was the whole humor thing he got. Basically, kind of adjusting his features, like the honesty and stuff. And that little light to tells when he's joking.
Yeah,
it's like jokes.
I didn't even notice that.
Like I thought most of the humor came from the robots, but it wasn't to the point where like the robots are just there to be like comic relief. Like they're just there to bring a little light into it when things are getting
very
serious.
very grim and dark.
Grim and depressing.
I mean, overall, this entire storyline of just the world is literally falling apart. Like everyone has this death sentence over their heads. But it's okay because
Basically.
funny robot.
Right. And everyone on the ship is just like, they're stuck on there for years, and
Yeah.
they're gonna have to deal with isolation. But it's fine. We got the robots.
Yeah, and that's another thing with this movie is that it's a long movie, but also I feel like at some points it's still so rushed, which, like, I understand because it is a long movie.
I was just having that thought yesterday, because this is supposed to take course over, like a space voyage. It's a really long voyage, so they're kind of like skipping along parts, which it's necessary because you don't want to like drag it on the movie, but it's just, I think it's just, you just expect more from such a long trip that they have.
Yeah,
Like, I liked even how. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna point out this one scene that's a little bit later on where they first go to visit the first planet, the water planet, and they come back on the ship, and then the other guy that was left there was like, "Oh, I thought that like you guys just weren't coming back."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, it's crazy," and then they just moved on. Like, I don't know, like I feel
Yeah.
it just like parts like that just kind of felt a bit rushed to me, but
That's fair. Yeah.
yeah.
But even like the one thing I didn't like, creative way that they rushed, like you were talking about, Jacob, the editing, like when they're leaving and then the countdown to the to them taking off. Like normally them taking off alone would be like this long, like dramatic scene of them leaving, but it's just like that they're just already in space.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's something I appreciated a lot.
Yeah.
I don't need a lot of in between stuff. They're kind of like right to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So then somehow, I guess 2 years has passed because they get to like the wormhole near Saturn. And then this basically, now they're just trying to decide once they get through the wormhole, like, okay, like which planet are we going to go to? There's 3 different planets. They're receiving data from these 3 different planets. I guess they're just trying to find the one that's looks the most promising to them. So they decide to go with the water planet, Miller's planet. I just had a feeling though, like whatever planet they were going to choose first, it was going to be the wrong planet. I mean, it's just kind of like, of course it was going to be.
Well, no, we're only like an hour in. It can't be the right one.
It can't be the right one
there can't be good
already.
things happening yet.
But it's just crazy because at this point you're already understanding like the more like they have so many resources that they're just wasting basically based on the choice that they make. Like not even just oxygen and fuel, but the way they emphasize, especially like time. Like that's
is a
basically just
huge
as
thing.
important as a resource as those other things, especially with the first planet. Like what was it, like every hour was 7 years?
Yeah.
Like on Earth?
Just about. And even then, that was like an approximation.
Right.
Yeah, like, every time is relative, as they say.
Because I mean, like we saw after that was definitely way more than 7 years that they missed. But they get on the planet and it's basically just all fucking water, with these huge ass waves. Okay, like get the fuck out. It's not gonna.
Yeah, water's terrifying on any planet, apparently.
Right.
So
I wouldn't even have just stayed there if it was just water. But then they saw the waves and they were like, let's go.
Nope. I would not have gotten off the ship. I would not have landed the ship.
I would have just straight flown, be like, we took the L, let's just go to the next planet. I would not
Let's
even
try
have,
again
like,
later.
Let's try. Yeah. So that doesn't go well. But then it's just the fact that I don't know what happened exactly where they like. So it was like Cooper was very mad at Amelia after once they got back and realized how much time like they missed. Like I guess what did she do in particular that was like that he was so mad about? Or was it just the fact that they had missed time? Because
I think it was because they realized they're like, okay, this team ate shit, and it probably means that there's no data worth like reserve recovering. And she's like, nah, I'm gonna get it because I'm already like right here. And then she trips and falls. Yeah, then she trips and falls and gets stuck. And that recovering her caught and like waiting on her to get back to the ship kind of costed them time and that other scientist's life.
yes,
I forgot his name. The guy from Hunger Games that was the game maker from the first Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Hunger Games in actually, have I seen those movies? I don't know. I remember him from American Beauty.
American Beauty.
Yeah. Which Martha, you do not like that one.
Do not like that movie.
But basically, yeah. So at this point, they've lost not just 7 years; they've lost likely decades. And I liked that the conversation though they had, like when he was like yelling at her and stuff. Like she was just kind of saying like, "Well, why didn't you tell Murph like your real like reason like for leaving, and he was just basically saying like, as a parent, like the most important thing is I need her to like make sure that she feels safe. And if I tell her that the world's ending, like she's obviously not going to feel safe. But it's also like, well, maybe if she knew you were leaving, like obviously that would still hurt. Like she doesn't want you to go, but at least she would understand you're trying to do something good, like her in mind. Because now she just thinks you don't give a fuck about her.
Yeah, which eventually leads to a big miscommunication. So
yeah,
and I think any way you cut it, it's always gonna look like that. Because some people can probably argue, which I'm pondering it. I'm like, maybe Cooper left for selfish reasons, like some weird hidden reason, because he just enjoys being a pilot and an explorer, and this opportunity, while kind of masked in this kind of righteous and kind of heroic and noble thing to risk your life for, it could have been for another reason that it's not explicitly made clear.
I was thinking that too. I definitely think that's part of it. I don't think they touch on that a lot, but I'm sure for him that's like part of it, that excitement of like being a pilot again and going on an exploration, that kind of thing. And I'm sure in his mind he probably didn't think he was going to be gone for very long. Like he thought it would just kind of be a quick trip. And then obviously, as we find out later, he was basically misled to go on this trip, like, which we'll get into later. But like he had all his intentions, and it was just kind of all screwed.
yeah,
So basically, then they run into what's his name? Romilly? How do they pronounce his name?
Who's that?
The other guy that's there, the
Oh,
one that
Romilly,
waited,
yeah.
Romilly. Martha just looks so confused. So basically, he stayed like basically like collecting data and stuff while they were out on the planet, and he tells them it's been like 23 years. Like, and the thing that sucks that, like you said, Martha, like they don't really touch on this much at all. Like the fact that he's just alone for 23 years. It's
this
so
man
sad.
has struggled this entire trip.
And you can see the shock in his face, and like the way his mannerisms, and even like the way that Brandon and Cooper react to him telling him that. There's just like, it kind of like, you see that kind of like white face where they're just like, shit, and like that, just kind of like what are they gonna do? Because they were probably gone just for a couple hours,
right?
Yeah,
maybe.
And especially like because I remember earlier in the movie, like he had already kind of talked about like his feelings of isolation. That's when Coop gave him like his earbuds, like because he was playing those
the
those
rain noises. I can't imagine.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
that thing probably broke, and he probably didn't have it after like the 5th year or something.
I know.
He has had the hardest time on this entire trip because like he's the one that's like, first of all, he was getting nauseous the whole time while like he was they were doing the spinning thing, and then on top of that, it's like left alone for that long. He has clearly is having the hardest time adjusting to just being up in space, to where he's like, how, like, there is nothing outside of these walls. It is the vast space of nothingness. Like, this is insane. And he's really just going through it this entire time. So this poor guy, to just top it all off, he's left alone for 20 some odd years. And
It's just,
well, that's, you know, the bright side is he probably got over it. You know, he probably had time to get over it, maybe.
he had 23 years. It's like, if you're not over by then, like, come on, man.
A lot happens in 23 years.
Right.
I mean, they're already on there for like almost 2 years, I think.
By that point, yeah. But the crazy thing is that's not even like the full emotion. That's just like barely it. So this is, okay, for me, this is my favorite scene of the movie, is when he like goes back and watches all the messages from the past, basically 23 years that he missed. Dude, I remember when I watched this, I was like fucking, I don't know if a tear came out, but I was like, I was feeling the emotions.
very close.
It was close. It was like,
I cried.
you did. It's
I full on cried several times throughout this.
It's crazy because like first you see Timothy, our guy, and then he gets older, turns into Casey Affleck of all people, and then
to Casey Affleck.
yeah, and then Coop basically realizes, so he has a grandkid that he missed, and then I think he passed the grandkid, right?
Yeah, so they lost the grandkid, and then they had another one, and which is like a whole other storyline that gets in deeper later on.
Yes, and then basically at the end, like the last thing he says is, well, like my wife says, like you probably aren't coming back, like I need to move on, so like this is it for me, like peace out. And then Murph, she's now Jessica Chastain, and then this part especially fucking broke me. Like, because like I said, I think this relationship, especially is like the heart of the movie, especially like the part where she's saying that you told me when you left that you might come back even and we'll be the same age. Well, like now today I'm the same age that you were when you left. And then it just cuts to him crying like crazy.
It's because at the heart of this movie, it's all about love.
And the best,
Basically, yeah.
The editing that gets me about this scene is the music's kind of playing in the background while he's listening to these things, and then once Murph's video cuts out, so does the music.
Yes,
like it just stops.
Yeah,
and that kind of like weird, like the music and almost like the opportunity just cease in front of Cooper.
Yeah,
like and he just witnesses it, and like him reaching for the monitor at the same time too is crazy, and it's just such a good fucking movie. It's just so well made.
Yeah. We're only halfway through.
Basically, and then basically it's right after this, like you said, right when that cut happens too, it cuts to her perspective in Earth.
Yeah.
And basically that's kind of like the other kind of plot we have going on now. Like she's older now, and she's for NASA, like as a scientist, she's working with Mr. Kane, like trying to figure out that equation. But back in space, now they got a new plan to worry about. They got to decide, okay, we going to Dr. Mann's or we going to Edmonds? And then basically the thing with Edmund is, so this is kind of random too, but Amelia's like in love with Edmund. They just bring that up out of nowhere.
No, not random.
No?
I argue it is not random because she goes on this whole thing about how the power of love essentially is like that has to mean something. We have no scientific proof like of what love is and like what the power behind it is, which in theory like it's a very
it makes sense.
Yeah.
But she's kind of conveying it in a way that it's like an actual dimension, or like it's something along the lines of time, right? And gravity, which is more of like just emotion. I guess.
I don't think it's literal, but the way she talks about it makes it seem like it's literal.
But here's the thing: at the end of the movie, it ends up coming into play and kind of ties this whole thing up in a nice little bow.
Right.
So while I don't think that it is the strongest plot line to be used for a movie this good,
honestly, I
understand why
I had the same thought.
Yeah, I was like, man, what is this bullshit?
I was like,
why doesn't she just admit?
I know it's a little too sentimental.
She just admits she just has this bias. She just has this bias. She wants to see her dude, and that's fine.
And then he calls her out for that shit, and she's like, gets all mad about it. She's like, well, okay, like, what do you want to? And then she's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe part of me wants to see him a little bit. Be like, well, too fucking bad. We got a mission to do. We're going Dr. Mann's. Turn this shit, route it. It's basically what he does. So then basically they get to Dr. Mann.
And it's an ice planet. It's all cold and
yes.
It's just everything about it is just awful.
Yeah, I hate that shit. Why do they
before that, something important. So Michael Caine on his deathbed, right?
Oh yeah.
No. This was while they were on the ice planet.
No, but I thought he died before they got to the planet, but they didn't find out the full extent of what he was doing until
it was like while
they were going.
They had that scene when they met Mann.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's when Mann like says like, well, yeah.
Yeah. That's true. But yeah, so basically basically they get to Mann's planet. It's just all like ice, clouds and mountains and shit. They open up his, whatever thing.
Hibernation cell
chamber.
It's Matt Damon.
It's Matt Damon.
What the
Matt
fuck?
Damon.
What the hell? Nope. I mean, no Boston accent or anything, but it's Matt Damon. That would have been actually. I would have loved to hear it.
It's kind of hilarious.
That would be funny.
That'd be awesome.
When I saw this, I already knew he was in it, so it wasn't really a surprise for me. But like, I wondered, especially like when it came out, if like people knew he was gonna be in the movie.
I definitely didn't know.
I was
so caught off guard. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't see him in the trailer. I didn't see him in nothing.
They didn't market him at all. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, Matt Damon. It's not like he's like a character I was looking forward to seeing, but I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
It reminded me of in Thor Ragnarok when he shows up for like 2 seconds. I remember when I was in the theater, I was like, what?
I didn't realize that was him there. He did not look like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. He
Because of
he
that,
fooled
because
me.
of his wig. But like, if you look at his face, you're okay. Yeah, what the fuck? It's Matt
He,
Damon.
he's
Yeah.
a trickster. So
Yes. But anyway, but now the truth is really getting out there. So Michael Caine on his deathbed basically admits to Murph that he was lying. So basically, there was never a plan A. He never had any intention of.
which let's kind of point out which plan A, plan B. Plan A was they find a viable planet to shuttle everyone on Earth onto that new planet. That doesn't work out. Plan B is they had a whole lot of eggs to drop off on this new planet and just rebuild the Earth, like rebuild the population.
Right, like new population, right.
Yeah.
I think that's nuts.
Right?
It's
just
fucking-
having to take care of an army of babies and then just like hoping
And
that
they're
they
gonna be
form a
raised by the
society.
astronauts and stuff.
Well, no,
I'm
no,
like,
no, but this is what you do. You mess with the relativity of time, drop them off somewhere where they'll age in like an hour, and boom, you don't gotta go through the whole baby phase.
Well, they would
guess.
still go through a whole baby phase and they would still
But it'll
need
be in like 2
attention.
minutes.
to anyone on the outside,
but
but
the-
not while they're there.
That's fair. That's fair. Anyway, that makes your point even stronger. This makes no sense as a plan.
This makes no
but
sense,
apparently
yeah.
for Michael Caine, this was his only plan because he never had any intention of doing a plan A. Everyone's on Earth suffering and he's dying, and he's just like, well, it's not my problem, basically. And
All right,
then,
I'm dying anyway, so
right. And then
Yeah.
Murph is now like, well, fuck, like, did my dad know about this? Like, did
Mm-hmm.
he just leave me here to die? Like, what is happening?
because they
And
never
then-
got that closure of like
Yeah.
him telling her the real reason why he left.
Right.
So she's like,
And then
automatically-
Dr. Mann, freaking Matt Damon, he knew all this. He never had the plan A. In fact, the equation that he apparently was trying to solve for 40 years or whatever, he solved that shit years ago. He knew that shit. Did not matter. He just always saw it as hopeless. Like, he wanted plan B. He wanted to start his new colony. And we see that obviously Koopa and Amelia didn't know about it. He knew that, like, the only way to get them on this mission is to lie to them and act like they had a chance on Earth, and they don't.
yeah.
And basically his defense was like, the reason why we're not telling everyone is because we just know that they're gonna act in their own self-interest rather than like the future of their race, like the species or whatever.
Which is crazy that this
it's
is all
fucking
happening.
crazy.
And then we go on to see the scene between, Matt Damon and him just like trying to be like, hey, so, I'm just trying to survive here. And it just, human nature of just like self-preservation just really, really comes into play here. And that's always an interesting plot line to include in a movie. So I think they did a really good job of that, of like showing just the selfishness of a human and just everyone just wanting to live.
Right.
I never not liked someone so quick. I
Right.
was like, like he
know.
said, like that they went on a walk, and I'm like, man, Matt Damon's character is charismatic. He seems like he knows what he's doing, and then you just find out he's just a total wuss, and
He's a total wuss fraud. Like,
fraud. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
That-
Yeah, exactly.
but the way not only that happens, but so this kind of sequence, like, there's so much happening that they're cutting back and forth between, and even just the build up, I already felt like the tension, just like, and I guess it was the way the music was kind of building up in the background, and just kind of like, I don't know, the way it built up tension, because not only was what was happening with Matt Damon on the island, on the planet, the whole thing with Tom's family, like with the dust, with them coughing up a storm in their house, and like all this, and then Romilly like trying to get the data from that robot that he's not using, like he's trying to transfer the data, like all that's happening at once, and
Yeah.
none of it feels like it's going good. So it all happening at once just really like
Bad thing
made
after
me feel so
the other, yeah.
tense. Yeah. So Matt Damon basically reveals, yeah, this data that I showed y'all that made y'all come here, yeah, I made that shit up. This planet, we're not surviving here. I made this up because this is the only way I knew y'all would come here and save my ass.
Yeah.
And now that you're trying to leave to go back home, no, I'm gonna kill you and take your ship. And then
Yeah.
while this is happening, Tom's family's coughing up a storm because of all the dust going on.
He's trying.
But-
They're trying to like get the family to leave, and is like, do you want to see your wife and child die?
No,
Because
no. Oh
that's,
yeah, I
they're,
want them gone.
they're
basically.
minutes away from that with this dust. Like they need to be taken care of, and he's like, nah, this is my home. I'm a farmer.
Yeah, he's just a hick now.
It's just like, what
Doesn't wear a
happened to
mask.
Timothy, man? Like, God.
What happened to me? What happened, Rat Boy?
So then Murph, which I love too, the way that they had it, where like she's driving through cornfields, like in the beginning of the movie. She fucking lights that shit on fire. She said, "We're lighting this corn up," which I'm assuming. I mean, that was their way to get Tom out of the house, distract him while they go. She gets the family out. Then you have Romley trying to get the data, and as that's happening, it explodes, kills him, and. I don't know if they ever explicitly say this. I'm assuming he had it programmed to explode because he had the real data on there. Like he was looking at the data, being like, what are these numbers, like all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I would assuming that's where he hid the real data in order to cover up, you know?
Yeah, but once again, this poor man, his whole character
Yeah, like bro, I feel so bad for him.
set up from the beginning, man.
No, and then the score has this like ticking noise behind it this entire time, which. I don't know if y'all seen Dunkirk, but the whole movie in that too has that same kind of ticking sound behind it.
So good.
And it's like, it's just more tension because like it's like kind of the feeling like, okay, they're running out of time, and then
They're running
what's
out
up?
of time, and also connection here is she's also looking back at her bookshelf, and there's the watch that the dad left.
yeah,
Time.
time. There you go. I will say this: a lot of Nolan's movies have to do with time. He's like obsessed with that.
Yeah, what's his problem?
I don't know. Like, why do you
He's
care
got
about
some
time so much?
issues.
How about live in the now? How about try that,
Yeah.
Nolan?
Absolutely.
Anywho,
Live La Vida Loca.
So
Something
Matt-
that.
thank you. So basically, Matt Damon. So he takes the ship and he's trying to dock it, but for whatever reason, his ass can't do it. He's like not doing it right. And I love too the little detail of like every time they're trying to tell him not to do something, they always like cut it off like mid sentence. Cause this motherfucker's just not listening. He's just like, no.
He took out his earpiece.
turned
He's
it
like,
off.
He took it
yeah.
out. He's just like, turn this shit off. Be like, I'm docking this fucking thing, whether it's perfect or not. Like,
Yeah.
and speaking of mid sentence, when I saw this moment, I jumped. And he's like, there was a moment. And he just flies off
love
the
it.
ship.
I love it because you know that in movies where it's like you have like the villain of it and they're
Yeah.
in like mid monologue and it's like supposed to be this like really heavy part where you're just like, oh, I hate this person and look at
Yeah.
them, they're like reveling in the fact that they just won. No, they don't do that.
They don't
He's
give him
like
that.
they cut
They
him
don't give
off
him that-
mid sentence.
No,
They're like,
they
he's
cut him
dead.
off. He's gone.
Oh shit, our spaceship.
It's
They're like, this guy
I
didn't
just
listen
like
to us.
I thought they were gonna at least let him finish his monologue first, or like I thought there was gonna be some hand to hand combat or something. No, this dude's just
Perfect.
out of there. It's awesome.
He didn't
And
deserve
then-
a
No.
last word.
He did not. Coward. So basically now they're in the position where because it exploded, it's kind of like spinning like crazy. They're about to get fucked up by that thing, and he doesn't figure out how to dock it. But he also has to spin as fast as the fucking thing is and somehow get it right. But of course he got it. He got it.
You got
And it
it.
was intense, and like they're like passing out while it's happening, but they get
But
there.
you got it.
And as soon as one crazy ass plan is done, they're just moving on to the next crazy ass plan. They get no breaks in space.
So let's take the black hole highway and let's get to
Right. We're not staying on the access road. We're getting on the fucking highway. We are
Yeah.
getting there. Right. And just like, so this is the part where they're just trying to get to the last planet, right? Like they're trying to sling around the black hole.
trying their
It's
darndest.
this crazy ass plan. And I just remember watching this, like the way that it's edited, and then even some of the shots were just super tight, and like everything just happening is all fucking insane. Like it's just all really crazy. And I mean, their plan is crazy too. They're trying to sling around a hole to get to the planet. Like, what the fuck are they doing? And then as that's happening, Coop decides to sacrifice himself and kind of send his ass straight into the black hole.
Yeah.
And then Amelia's just floating off in space by herself doing God knows what.
Well, I mean, his plan was to like, hey, you're our last chance. I'm sacrificing myself, which is a nice break from all of the selfish behavior we have seen from literally everyone else in this movie.
That's fair.
He also sacrificed Tars.
Oh, he did. Yes.
And what I think made this movie kind of like it's kind of dropping hints here and there of this kind of theme of letting go to move on. Mm-hmm. Like they keep bringing up, like I think the first one to say it was, or the first one to kind of like bring it up was that he needs to move on is his father-in-law saying, look, you were good at something, but I mean, we're here now.
Right.
Then, his son is like leaving him these messages and he says, well, my wife says I got to move on now. And, this and that. So, to move forward, it's not healthy. And this is kind of like when he's like finally getting that to where quite literally he, him and Tars referenced Moon's third law. To move forward, you gotta let something go. Right. So they both detach. And I'm like, it's worth noting. I'm not entirely sure how to make it deeper than that, but it's just something that's just recurring,
Right. And I definitely think even with Murph too, like she's kind of at the point where like she's trying to let go of her dad, but like something's keeping her still of like hoping that will work.
Yeah.
And work out somehow. So it's definitely something that I feel like all these characters are definitely going through.
Yeah, I guess to wrap that up, it's while everyone is like having to let go to be able to move on, it's always still important to keep that prospect of hope,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's still that shining light there. Don't give up entirely, So
yeah, except Coop when he flies into the black hole.
Except that, yeah.
I never had so much like claustrophobia. There's something I just hated. I'm just like, okay, he's in this little thing. He doesn't know where he's going.
Right.
He can't perceive it. And then he fucking shoots himself out of it.
The visuals when he goes in that black hole are insane.
Insane.
I was just like, oh my god. And then I don't know how y'all watched this movie, but it was on my Blu-ray, so like there was a lot of scenes with like the IMAX, I guess the way they shot in IMAX, so like the scenes were all filled up. So you could see even more of the shots. Oh. So even seeing more of the visual effects was just like even more like kind of crazy to look at. And then now he gets through the black hole and somehow he ends up in Murph's bookcase.
Behind it, technically.
Oh, he's not in it. Yeah, he's behind it. That's right. If he was in it, he'd be next to it.
This is where the movie takes a turn into, okay, you think the plot's confusing? Just wait till we just bring in this whole other dimension.
This is the shit. I still don't understand what's happening here. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I did my research on this. Okay. And I think I figured it out.
All right, let's hear it.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not smart. I'm pretty stupid. But
hey, this is
I
two
understand
idiots
what these people
who know
are saying.
Nothing. Right. No, it's all good.
So here's the thing. Cooper, he's in the black hole, and somehow he ends up in this space where he can look at moments reoccurring from Murph's bedroom when she was a little girl. And the whole point of this, what he's looking at is the fifth dimension if he could see it, which is the best way that was explained was by Neil deGrasse Tyson. He was actually like not reviewing the movie, but he's talking about it's like astrophysics. He said, okay, so we have 3 dimensions that we can see. We can walk somewhere, we can go up and down, left and right. That's 3 dimensions. That's our 3-dimension space. He said the 4th dimension that we don't realize is there and we take for granted is time. He said, okay, you don't give a place without time, you don't give a time without place, meaning I don't say, hey, I'm going to meet you here. You're going to say, okay, well, when? And then I'm going to say, or if I say, hey, I'm going to meet you at 10 o'clock. Okay, where? So that's something, he said, that's something we overlook all the time. And then he said, the 5th dimension would be taking that timeline and being able to see it. which is something we can't comprehend because we can't see time, but we know it's there. We acknowledge its existence. We abide by its rules. And we're free in our 3D space because we can see it. We're not trapped in it. We can move around freely. But he said, we're a prisoner of time. We're a prisoner to the present because we're always in the present. We're never in the future. We're never in the past. We can't access either, like the way we can access left, right, up, and down.
Yeah.
Is it? So that's the fourth dimension. But the fifth dimension is when you can actually access that. So these beings that put the black hole there for them are beings way in the future that have evolved to a point where they can access that. And they gave it to Cooper in a way that he could perceive and understand. Even when he saw it, he didn't understand what was going on until he did. So basically what he's in is in this giant library of these different times, and pretty much infinite because there's so many times that he could find, but he really only needed to go see a few specific moments.
Yeah.
So that's the
Okay.
That's the whole idea behind there. Is
And
basically that.
It does help me a little bit. I will be.
Yeah.
I think I can wrap my head around a little more. That's
Yeah.
very good.
It's
If
still
anything,
really
it was
weird.
very cool.
sure.
Very weird, but very cool. Like just
Yeah.
to like think about that and how it's all
Because like
space.
the way I understood it was like, so like for they keep referencing like time, like you said, is like one of their 5 dimensions, and basically using gravity, that's their method of communication, which is how Coop was able to send the messages to Murph.
That's the weird part. I don't know. That's like the whole thing with gravity. Okay, I can understand time, but what does gravity have to do with time? That's the only part that I'm like,
I don't know, because they're
grasping.
obviously like the main thing from the beginning is like, okay, these were all gravitational anomalies that they were discovering. But I don't really know where that connects to like time very well.
That was just them trying to like put a name to it, like just them trying to wrap their head around it, and that it never
that was a label.
Yeah.
It's a label they put on it. It's just a label.
yeah, because in the end, when we don't understand something, we try to understand it. And most of the time, especially when we first initially encounter it, we're not going to understand it, even if we try to make sense of it.
Yeah,
so they're probably just bullshitting for all they know. They're just throwing theories out there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very fair. But basically for them, like you were saying, like they were just trying to reach Coop, and he does figure it out with why can I not remember the robot's name? Turf?
Tars.
Turf. He helps him kind of explain this to him, and basically Murph is kind of the key. They're communicating to Coop, and somehow Coop needs to find a way to get that known to Murph. And eventually, Murph figures that out, and that ties back to him being the ghost.
Yeah.
From the beginning, all he was doing was just trying to communicate to her. Because apparently she's the one person they chose, those beings.
Being him. No?
Right, okay, that's the thing. They were like, there's no they. Then they were like, there's no they. Like, it's just humans who have evolved so far in the future.
It turns into a huge paradox.
Yes.
This huge paradox where it's like, well, we wouldn't be here if they didn't relay the information. Why the information would have never been relayed if we weren't there.
Yeah.
But then,
so it's like this whole loop.
Yeah.
So did they evolve so much that they placed the wormhole there?
Well, I guess
I guess they just got so far and like, because they were like, they put it there for us, like they put it there so we could discover like these new planets, but then we're like, they did it. But if like there's the
only thing
them.
The plot hole I always thought was, I'm like, okay, they never really explained who they were. They just said these are the beneficiaries of Murph saving the planet, and that's just what they were led to assume, was that they did that to get the right stuff to Murph so that she could figure all this out, do what Michael Caine couldn't. But at the same time, Coop takes that, but then he kind of puts it on himself, saying, I brought myself here.
Yeah,
because
like, no one brought me here. I brought myself. Right.
Yeah, which I think he got wrong. I this is just my way of understanding.
I think he's severely mistaken.
Yeah, because he definitely was the one who was the ghost and all that. I'm not saying he's not, but who put that dimension there and who put the black hole there and all that? I do think that's a being from a fifth dimension that had their grasp on it that they couldn't at the time.
Okay.
So I think Cooper's being a little cocky there.
A little bit, a little full of himself in that moment.
The way that I had kind of understood it, which I still don't, but
let's talk. We'll talk through it. Come on.
Yeah, I guess like it came down to like inevitability.
You still can't pronounce that word.
I still can't pronounce words. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Okay, so okay, I think it's like it was always meant to happen. So I don't.
Murphy's law. Murphy's law. Isn't it like if it can happen, it will happen? Isn't that? Yeah. Don't they like say that multiple times?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Like it is.
You know what? Cooper can be sucked into a fifth dimensional vortex and turn. I don't know. It
can. So
that's a problem. That's the problem with paradoxes. Is you think about it and it's this whole chicken and the egg, like loop of like you're never gonna find that solution. The best thing is just to accept it as it is and just move on because you can just go in circles with that.
To be fair, that's what I've learned to do with even his Nolan's movies. Because when I saw Tenet, the main thing that I told myself was I'm just gonna watch it as it is and just enjoy it. Because the more I try to understand it, the less it's just not working out. So,
yeah, that's
probably
my
what he
issue
does when he writes his scripts too. Like, we're just gonna roll with it.
That's my issue with every time travel kind of movie or any kind of movie that deals with the fact of interacting with something that happened in the past and then that subsequently even making that moment happen. Like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Or like, different things where it's like, or like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban where they realized they were the ones pulling the strings.
Yeah.
And then they finish it and then they see them go back in time again. So then it's just like ever going loop.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what got me to think. Like, I was literally thinking Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban was like trying to understand this movie. I was using Harry Potter, and that's how I saw it. It was always going to happen. Yeah, not Hot Tub Time Machine, unfortunately.
I've never seen that movie.
I've never seen that movie either. I just remember in Endgame they like referenced that in like all those movies.
Yeah, all of the many movies.
Yeah, but they didn't say Prisoner of Azkaban. I forgot about that one being time. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So basically but basically the whole idea is just like he now needs to find a way to tell Murph. So he's got to pull out that watch. Or she does. That's basically the way, which they kind of tie back to earlier. Like that's why he gave her the watch to kind of match with his. Way. And through Morse code, she got the message. Mm-hmm. He figured out a way to get that message. She figured it out, and now it's up to her saving the world. She's got everything she needs.
No, not saving the world. Leaving the world behind. Finding a new one.
Okay, not the world, but save like the human race. I guess.
The human race.
Saving the human race.
Saving the human race, right? Fuck Earth. We're not saving Earth.
There's no going back at this point.
And then I just loved like even the little details like that he's discovering like when he's in that black hole. Like I forgot earlier in the movie like Amelia like has that moment where she's kind of like shaking her hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it was him. That was like. That's crazy. It's just like, these details are so good.
Details. But eventually, it does end up working out. She does get that message. And by some miracle, while he is just in space, just floating, just existing,
right?
He is saved.
Yeah.
Somehow.
By them.
By them. Who is them?
We don't know,
I don't know.
Did he save himself? Let's look at this. Like,
no. I don't know,
man.
They didn't say.
They didn't say because they didn't want to reveal who they were.
True.
But he wakes up. on Cooper Station, not named after him, after his daughter. And
yeah,
this
and that,
motherfucker's-
once again, him getting ahead of himself, thinking he's better than he is.
I think he's better
Like,
than
oh,
this
you named
guy.
it after me,
You
and they're
named
like,
me? I'm so
no.
sweet. No, bitch, your daughter.
I want to
The
go on a
fuck?
tangent. The doctor that's talking to him is the smoothest doctor I've ever seen in a movie. Probably.
Why say
He's
that?
just he's like a 2-second character who's just saying, telling him where he's at.
Yeah,
He's just so smooth with it,
he left
and
that
he's
impression.
he's just so good looking.
Can you?
And you
can
see
you?
this man, his shirt's sharp, his tie is on point.
That's true.
He has his hands in his pockets.
Oh,
His hair is like gray, but it's not white, and
Right.
it's like he looks older, but he's not old, and he doesn't look too young, and he's just like
He looks like he needs
Yeah.
to be in like a James Bond movie or something. Like, what's he
Yeah,
doing being a
he's like-
doctor? Like,
he's like I'm gonna give you all the exposition you need right now, without
let me fill you in.
without
brother.
overdoing it,
Right.
and he does it. Oh my god, that guy is one of the best small roles I've ever seen.
Ever seen you.
I just like how he
Props
talks
to
to
him.
him.
Should I find the actor's name? I want to see like what this guy. If I could, I don't even. Maybe
yeah, if you can,
he's probably
in
on the
post,
bottom
try
of like
and
the
find a
actors
picture.
list.
You
I will
gotta
try to find
find
a
this
picture.
guy.
I gotta find his name.
Someone needs to eat his ass for what he did in Interstellar. His work
they
in
found-
Interstellar was amazing.
I think I found. Oh my god! I think I found the guy. Let me just look up a picture and make sure it's the same guy. Oh my god! Oh my god! Let's see. Yep, his name's Jeff Hefner.
Jeff Hefner.
Hefner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hefner. Now that's Dr. Hefner.
Wait,
you
am
know
I able
that
to-
makes sense.
Oh, I forgot. I can share my screen. I can literally show y'all right now. Actually, hold on. Check it out.
Look
That's
at this
him, right?
kid.
Oh.
Yes, that is him.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Look, and they typecast him into other doctor roles because they know just how
'Cause he's
smooth with it
perfect
he
for
is.
it.
He's just
Yeah.
exactly. He's just. Yeah. I don't know what happened. It's disgraceful. Honestly.
Like Jeff, we need you again.
We need you, Jeff.
We need you for another mission.
But
Basically,
yeah.
so this guy's 124 years old now, Cooper, and let's just say the world looks a little different. He goes outside.
The world's
and shit,
all turned upside down.
there we go. Martha.
That was a good one, Martha.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry.
I like that one.
But yeah, the world's upside down now. And finally, he is able to see Murph. I mean, now she's older than he is.
Yeah, a lot of, like
little-
on her deathbed,
just a little bit
older.
older, basically. Yeah, she's dying. But
She's
they do get
old
to
as
see each other
balls.
again. To put it lightly, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Straight to the point. And basically, like, it's just a sweet way to kind of wrap up this main relationship. Like, in her mind, she always knew he was going to come back for her. And he's like, why? Because you promised me. Like, my dad
Yeah.
promised me. And you're like, okay, well, you didn't really think that earlier when you
and-
were. But,
Yeah, and I like the nice little touch of just her being like, "Hey, I appreciate you being here now. Now leave."
Yeah, that was the last point of the movie where it's like people move on, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what she did. She lived
Yeah.
her entire life without him. No matter how weird it is to think, they were close, but now she has her own family that she spent her entire life with.
Right.
So she definitely let go of Cooper, which is sad to
Yeah.
to think about that kind of thing.
I mean, he let go of her, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
makes sense, and but the thing is, yeah, exactly. He accepted it. He didn't fight it. He's like, you know what, you're right. I let go, and now I'm in this new generation.
Yeah.
I can do what I want. It's not like I have kids anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything to.
I know. It's just pretty
serve.
crazy because, like, when she tells him that, like I don't, like, no parent deserves to see their child die. Like, don't worry, I have my family here. And, like, all these people are gathered around her bed. Like, he missed all that, basically.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, and I like how they didn't. He didn't go into like meeting who's who, and neither did they. Meet him.
Yeah.
It was just between him and Murph.
Yeah.
I mean, for all he knows, his grandkids and his great grandkids, that they're probably present and all that.
Fuck all
But-
that.
But
Fuck all
doesn't-
that. Fuck all that noise.
Yeah.
I let go of you. You let go of me. You told them I like farming. I hate you.
Right.
Why would you lie to them?
Dude,
Basically,
you told him I like farming.
basically, like instead of staying to watch her die, like Bran's out there, like she's on that planet, like go find her. And then you just see her like on her own, like on that planet, and like she's, I guess, the way it makes it seem like she's starting to kind of build the
Well, I
the
think
colony
I
there.
think the idea there was that like he doesn't even him being like floating through space and everything doesn't affect the time that she had, like it was probably like minutes or hours ago that she had just landed on that planet and just started building up.
Right.
But yeah, so essentially, when he gets there, I don't think there'll be too much time difference. I don't think.
Yeah, that's true.
Them.
I don't think so. I
Which
mean, who
will
the
be
fuck
nice
knows?
because that means he will have a connection with someone at least with a similar
and she'll have the
age.
connection with him because like
Yeah.
really like the only kind of connection we saw that she had with someone was like her dad that she missed too. But
Yeah.
but it
Her
ends right
boyfriend
there. Oh yeah,
Can't forget him.
that's right. That's right.
Like she goes, "Ooh, I'm about to see my boyfriend."
Boyfriend.
They didn't say how he died, but now she got to raise these dumbass kids by herself.
For real, all
On
those
this-
colonized egg babies.
Yeah, no.
Yay.
We'll be like, have fun with that. But yeah, that's the way it ends, which I really liked how that ended. I thought
Yeah.
that was very satisfying, and yeah, I enjoyed that ending, and I enjoyed this movie. This was really great to rewatch again. It is a long movie, but I didn't really feel the length too much, to be honest.
I never feel the length.
Yeah.
This movie is just perfectly paced in
Yeah,
that
I agree.
sense.
Because I think like I mean I've seen movies that are honestly like half the length of this and feel longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like it's not really just how long it is, but how well you edit it. Like I saw the new Bond movie yesterday, No Time to Die. That movie's like I think about the same length as this, but I didn't feel it like at all. It felt like quick. So it's just
Really?
really just all about how you put it together, and I think he does it really well here. And,
Yeah, just keeping your people engaged and all that.
yeah.
And you know, there's some movies who have the audacity to be that long, and they start to lose me because I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, that was kind of Endgame for me, Avengers Endgame. Now I like
What?
that movie. I like that movie a lot. I own that movie. I bought that movie.
I bought it too.
But there was a point when I first was watching it, I'm like, okay, where's this going? Like I know where it was going, but there was just parts where it was just. It's a superhero movie, and you know, while I respect the story and all, and I don't just want mindless action, there just wasn't a lot of like wow moments until like that last, like
big fight
that
at the
last
end.
fight,
Yeah.
like that big
Right.
fight, which I think was cool, and everyone can be like, you know, well, there were so many superheroes in it, and it was like everything everyone's been waiting for, like the big finale, but
Big build up to the. Yeah.
but the thing, the problem with like that many people is they don't all have a lot of screen time, unless they're like a key element into driving that thing. So like, you know,
yeah.
pretty much the main cast was still just like the center spotlight for like the entire fight.
I mean, that whole like middle act of the movie is basically like fan service, which
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, but I loved it though because I
Yeah. But we are
had
the
watched
fans,
like,
though.
we are the fans. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine with it. But I can imagine someone who's not into the MCU like that. They're just like, this is
Yeah.
stupid. Like I get
Yeah,
it.
I was just disappointed to see that's how it played out. I don't know
Yeah.
what I was expecting. I just wasn't expecting that, and not in a good way. But
I mean,
that was
Infinity
just a
War is my
tangent.
favorite Marvel movies. Like, I love
Infinity War was perfect.
Like, yeah.
What a good cliffhanger.
Oh,
So I think
good.
Endgame's like a great part too, but I think like, I mean, obviously it's kind of like it's how you kind of expect it to end, but like Infinity War
Yeah.
just like did it different. I don't know. But anyway, this is not the Marvel episode, so that would be a fun one to do. That would be a fun one to do. But yeah, but what are y'all's overall thoughts on the movie now that we kind of ran through the plot? Like, what are your kind of?
I am so glad that you chose this movie, Jacob, because had you not, I don't think I would have ever watched this movie again. And
That's disgraceful. That's
Well,
just-
I know,
That's
I know.
a
I'm
huge
disappointed in
disservice to
myself.
yourself.
It is. It absolutely is. But seeing it again, I am able to. I mean, still don't understand everything, but I understand a lot more. I understand now that it is taking place in the future, which is something that completely went over my head the first time watching it.
Well, you thought this was like right out of like 2010 or whatever?
This is why I was so confused. I was like,
like-
are they like in the middle of the Dust Bowl? Like I just did
You thought it
not.
was a period piece or something?
I didn't know. I didn't know. Okay. But point is watching it now, I thought it was incredible. I loved it. This is a great, great movie, and I'm so happy that I gave it another watch, and I will be watching this again.
Great.
Yeah. Me too. It's,
I feel the same way.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll definitely
it was
watch
good.
it again.
It was very good.
It was okay. Here's the thing. I don't want to, when I want to give it my opinion, I don't want to just say that it wasn't amazing just because I didn't understand the plot. I think I'm just dumb. So I'm just gonna end it with just saying I think it's one of the most sensible and non-dragging long movies I've ever seen, to where I can enjoy it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna sit through all this, and I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it.
Like the fact that you can sit through like a 2 hour and 40 minute whatever this is and be invested all the way through.
Yeah,
like it's pretty crazy. Like that's definitely deserves a lot of credit. Obviously, it's like beautifully made. Like
and it's an original story.
Yeah, yeah. It's a sci-fi movie that's
the
like
best part.
Yeah, it feels like its own thing. Even though it's sci-fi, like this genre that's like been around forever, it feels like its own original story. And the best part is it has heart. Like without the heart, this would be just another kind of like space travel kind of movie. But like there's actually like emotion in it.
Yeah, and it's not like a dumb remake.
Yeah.
Where we're gonna remake the movie, polish it. It's gonna look so good. I'm like, okay, wait. I need something fresh, which is something that Christopher Nolan has a really good knack for doing.
Yeah.
Good stories, unique stories, things that don't remind me of other things. So this definitely just stands on its own and not like a base that was already there. It doesn't try to get like an upper hand on people who previously liked the movie and try to suck that, because I think that's cheap. So this being like coming out of nowhere, because I remember seeing the posters for it and being like, this looks cool, and I didn't even see the trailer yet. And I saw the trailer and I don't even know what's going on. And then I watched it. I still don't know what's going on. And but here I am, so much older, so much wiser. I honestly didn't understand this movie till like yesterday. When me and my girlfriend were like watching videos, trying to understand it, and
I should have crammed those in before the episode. I could have sounded smart.
Yeah, and it's a good kind of movie because it leaves you thinking, but it's not because it doesn't make sense. It just has you pondering it. And it's not like, oh, there's so many plot holes in this movie, it doesn't make sense. It's just such a big grand idea that I think it's just really tough to piece together at first. Yeah. Which is something I really appreciate.
It's definitely like, because even like when you were saying that, like his other movies that he's done that like you would think kind of would be like other ones, like even his Batman movies, like they're superhero movies, but they don't really feel like any other superhero movies I've seen. Like Dunkirk, that's a war movie, but the way he tells it like is like different than like other war movies. You know what I mean? Like even with movies that like could easily just be like other ones, he finds a way to make it fresh. And like, so I just really appreciate with this that he did that, and like they clearly put a lot of effort into like the science of it all, and but still telling a story that's full of like genuine like humanity in it too. Like it feels like a human story. But I love this thing, and I'm really glad I watched it again.
The last thing that I love that we mentioned several times is just the visual effects. Oh yeah. Christopher Nolan has this really big thing for practical visuals.
Yes. Yeah.
If he doesn't have to use CGI, then he won't.
Right.
Which will result in like the best picture. And he did that for Dark Knight. He did that pretty much for like almost all his movies that he could.
Yeah. Even
if he could accomplish it,
right,
he'll do it.
Even I don't know if you've seen Tenet, but there's like this big like plane crash sequence that I feel like most people, they would just use like a fake kind of explosion, but I saw like footage of like they just legit just crashed into an airport and filmed it. So
exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that. Like Inception, they built a hallway that spun, so the actors were actually spinning. It wasn't wires or anything. Dark Knight Rises, he actually blew up buildings and stuff. And that's just something I always liked about Christopher Nolan, because you get the best look from that kind of ambition.
Yeah, I definitely agree. All right, do y'all have? I guess I kind of asked this already. Any like final thoughts? Those were your final thoughts. So if y'all don't have anything else you don't want to say? Do you want to go ahead and give your score? Jake, you can just give a score like out of 10.
I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's a
Martha?
good one. I am giving it an extremely high 9.
Okay. I'm in the
Very
same
high.
too. Very high 9 for me too. Probably I would say probably 9.5 too. Would be probably about around there.
Cheers.
Oh, I guess we cheers on that. Okay.
We all got nines.
Jacob, what you got?
I have puzzle glue.
Imaginary.
I have this.
It's there.
I don't have
It's all
anything.
there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Next time.
I will say I don't know. Okay, I don't know what's keeping me from like the perfect score. Like, okay, like the whole thing about like we talked about this earlier, like love, kind of saving the day.
There
Like,
it is.
I get the idea of it. I like it. I think it's better executed here than like most people would do it. But it's still kind of. I guess the way they still do it is still a little like okay, like you didn't even have to like do all that, and it wouldn't have changed the plot like at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
it's
still would have felt.
the pour of love.
Yeah.
I'm just like okay, what are we doing here? But
I don't think there's
it's
ever
so
been
minor.
anything that worked. it seems plot devicey like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
He
just
just,
like
he doesn't really
just
do that
'cause
kind of
love.
thing. So I was just kind of like, why that now? I don't know.
I'm like, yeah, no, I've been heartbroken by love too many times to accept that
Bro, I
bullshit
don't attach
explanation.
myself to that shit.
I'm like, I thought we were in space looking at
Right.
planets.
I'm like, what is this? He's
Like,
talking about
it's
loving somebody
Pixar.
that's probably dead. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, no. I mean, it makes sense what she's saying, but I think it's just doesn't apply at the same
Yeah,
time. But
I think
Yeah.
like when she says it, like I feel it when she's saying it. I think it's a good like little monologue she gives.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the fact that
it
she
is.
uses it to try to justify their choices, like what they're gonna do, and like they're actually
Yeah.
like, and then at the end, like you said, like it kind of comes full circle at the end.
Yeah,
It's just
but
kinda
even
like-
then, it's still just it's very cheap.
A little
yeah,
cheap.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
You literally just
Yeah.
didn't have to say anything, and it would have been fine. But anyway,
Yeah.
But other than that, this movie was
damn near perfect movie.
out of this world.
Where's the mute button?
There
There
Excuse
we
me.
go. Anyways, y'all, so that that is the end of our discussion on Interstellar. Oh my god, I lost my outline. Here it is. Martha, so we are now in December. Similar to how we did like in October, we were doing a bunch of spooky movies. I thought it would be nice to get in the festive spirit of the
25
holiday.
days of Christmas.
Could you imagine if we did 25 days of in a wire screen?
No, we are not doing that. Absolutely not. Do not
I
have
don't even
the
know.
time
I don't even know
nor
25
the-
Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I don't even know like
There's a whole bunch of crappy ones on
Lifetime.
Netflix. I tell you,
Half of them would be
y'all have a
Lifetime
field
movies.
Day. I have a field day going through the worst Christmas movies you've ever seen on Netflix because
We
they're
c-
so easy to make.
we need
that
to
these
do-
studios go crazy with them.
Yes.
We
I literally just saw
absolutely need
one. I just saw one called Love Hard. I think I told you last week
Yeah.
or something about it. That was one of those bad ones. So
It's
maybe
always
we'll have to
like,
do one of those
I'm-
ones.
It's always like, I'm Santa's son. I gotta save Christmas. I'm a
I'm a businesswoman
kid.
and I hate everyone.
I
it's always,
hate Christmas.
it's always that I'm the fashion designer. I hate Christmas.
It's
And then
I don't have time for Christmas or
Right.
family.
this
I'm
is
black.
And then the
understand.
mailman and then the mailboy falls in love with me and I fall in love
They're
with
like,
him.
they like live in the streets of New York and they have to go to Oklahoma for a Christmas vacation.
Like,
Yes.
oh
And
no,
then-
Oklahoma. I spent
Yeah.
millions of dollars just last week and I gotta go to buttfuck Oklahoma to spend Christmas with my dumb mom.
Fucking
I hate
deadbeat
those
dad.
movies.
I fucking
Yeah.
and my freaking
Stupid
childhood
Oklahoma.
sweetheart, whatever. And yeah, dumb movies, but
Terrible.
we love them anyway. But we aren't gonna. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is dumb. But
Oh, it is. But
in the
it's a classic, is what it is.
but in the best ways. This is my honestly, I will say this is my favorite Christmas movie that we're gonna talk about first. We're doing Home Alone next week for our movie.
That one's a solid one.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
so
I'm glad.
excited for
I'm
this
glad
one.
you agree. We have your support
Yeah.
there because
I
I
love
thought you were
Home
gonna
Alone.
roast that one too. I was a little scared.
No, Home Alone. If you look at Home Alone, there's no other Christmas movies or movies like it.
That's true.
It kind of
besides Home Alone
it's-
2, 3, and whatever the fuck else they did after.
There's
I
a
stopped
new
after
one
2.
coming out, actually.
Don't-
No, it already came
ignore-
out.
Ignore everything after 2.
It already came out. It looks
Oh, yeah,
terrible.
we don't-
After 2, we don't bother.
If
Right.
Macaulay Culkin's not here, neither am I.
we do not care anymore.
Right.
Macaulay, if he's not in, then I'm out.
They need to do a new one. Bring him and Brenda Song back in there and just Aren't they together?
They brought
They are
his brother back in it. Do you remember? Do you see that?
No, I did
In,
not.
in the trailer, they're showing his brother Buzz is now a cop, and he's Officer McAllister, and he's like now buddies with this kid, and it's in the trailer. It's not like I'm spoiling anything, but it's in the trailer.
No,
I'm
I can't
seeing
watch
these
the movie
ads
now.
for
You
it.
like ruined it. You like ruined it.
Oh darn! Can't watch it.
Man, I'm
Can't
like,
watch the
you know
new Home
what?
Alone movie. Like,
I don't get it. But it's whatever.
anywho, but we're doing the first one. We're doing the classic.
Classic.
And it's gonna be fun to talk about. And so if you have not seen that or you want to rewatch it, it's on Disney Plus. Check it out there. What else we got? All right. If you like what you hear, you can find us on Spotify and Apple, all those softwares or programs, whatever you can listen to music and stuff on. YouTube channels, Inner Wider Screen. Like our videos, subscribe on there, and then we're on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Do we post on there? No, but we are on there. And that's all. We have a TikTok. I have not uploaded there in like 3 months.
We have.
We have it
Why
though.
is this the first time I'm hearing of this?
We announce it at the end of every episode, Jake.
We don't ever post anything.
We don't use it though.
Really?
Okay, here's the thing with the TikTok. It's just because I literally like have not had the time to actually like put them together.
But you know what? Christmas break is here. We are
That's
ready to be back at this. We're
Yes.
going to be doing more in person,
Oh yeah.
which we haven't done in a while.
Yeah.
It's gonna be all fixed.
It'll be
Christmas
good.
break will magically fix everything.
We
with
got
this
quite a few.
podcast.
We got quite a few weeks off before we go back next semester, so it'll be all good. But yeah, Jacob, thank you so much again for coming on. You're welcome back anytime.
Thanks for having me. This is
Of
awesome.
course.
This was tons of fun. Great talking to you. Good
yes.
movie suggestions. So
Good.
great
Thank
job.
you.
Yes, thank you.
My next
Keep
one's gonna
coming.
be so much better.
Oh, okay,
better.
good.
Better than Interstellar.
Next time we're doing Cheetah Girls.
Oh, hell yeah. I am 100% for that. I am here for that.
Which one though? The first one.
The second one.
Good choice. I like you.
I need to do a rewatch of the 3 of them. I forget there's 3 of them.
No, just
There's only
there's
2.
two.
I think
You're
there's
right.
only
There's
two.
only
There's only
two.
two.
There's only
yeah,
2.
no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, y'all. Okay. Do y'all have anything else y'all want to say before we head out? Jacob, I know that I forgot to congratulate you on your EP, right? That came out.
Oh, yes.
Oh
Please.
yeah. I make music. Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
It's pretty good. And I just released the EP. I think it was like probably maybe September.
Yeah, I know.
August,
I know. It was in
September.
a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, got that. I'm always making things. I'm actually in the works with someone that we also went to school with. Well, it's Josh Christmas. Trying to keep it secret.
Oh, I'm so
But
excited
no,
for that. Okay.
we've been working on this since right before COVID hit.
Wow, man.
And just so much stuff has gone on, but we're locking in next week and seeing maybe we can finally maybe make really good progress in it, because I'm also
That
off
would be really cool.
just for a week.
awesome.
So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
Okay.
Definitely. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Your
it's
music,
nice.
it's on all the streaming services, right? It's not just on SoundCloud. Like it's on.
All of my music is on SoundCloud, but my 2 EPs are both or they're only on all streaming platforms.
Okay,
but all
cool,
my
cool, cool.
other singles, they're not.
Yeah.
Let me see. I forgot the name of it. I think it's I Myra, and like it's all one word, all caps. I think I M. The letter M is lowercase, so it's IMIRA. And
I'll leave a link. I'll definitely
Yeah,
put
we'll
it
definitely
in
link
the
it.
description. Put a link in there for sure.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
Of course. All right. Well, Martha, anything else for you?
I used all my space puns.
All right. Well, see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.